The Venus-Uranus square is here to shake things up on the financial and relationship front. On March 19th, Venus arrives in the exact square with Uranus. It's time we talk about it, and we touched on it a little bit in the Virgo full moon video, but this aspect deserves its own segment because not only is it going to affect us on the global financial front, but it's going to affect us in maybe our personal finances and relationships too. So we definitely need to talk about that. So first, let's cover what's happening in the world. Venus is in closure. We talked about that earlier in the month. Venus is between Mars and Saturn, which means she's basically between a rock and a hard place. So we see that playing out in the world financially. There's a lot of huge financial themes going on right now, which are sort of exacerbating the inflation issues that we're seeing here. So the sanctions on Russia driving up the cost of gas and who knows what else. I think that this square from Uranus can create huge fluctuations, unforeseen, unexpected, sort of surprising fluctuations, maybe in areas that we weren't quite aware of, or maybe even just, no event is isolated, but it could just be inflation. As we talked about with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction increasing, we may likely see inflation continue to increase, and we are. So this full moon will set the tone for the next 2 to 4 weeks, leading us right up to that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. I think that this aspect between Venus and Uranus could send that pendulum swinging in a way that creates some pretty big stressors and issues on the financial front. Just looking at the nature of Venus in general, it doesn't look very good. Mars continues to push her into Saturn's corner. And meanwhile, this aspect between Venus and Uranus, it's like a jailbreak aspect. So what we have is basically we're seeing technological warfare happening. And I think we are going to see an attempt to rebel. We may see some cyber attacks, and that could be from within Russia. I think that we're seeing a technological warfare. It's only a matter of time before, we're already starting to see the warnings of hackers or cyber attacks. We're already starting to kind of see the warnings of that because we can see that it's headed there. And this aspect kind of agrees with that in a lot of ways. But also we could see some vigilante justice sort of happening here. I remember seeing something last year with Uranus and Taurus. So we're talking about like the meat industry and everything, and some hackers drove down the price or did something kind of crazy there. So I'm definitely expecting some sort of cyber attack or vigilante justice thing sort of happening around this aspect. But here we see Mars just behind Venus, sort of throwing gasoline on the fire. So there is something antagonistic. There's some sort of like anger or retaliation kind of fueling this financial rebellion that we may end up seeing. So it just doesn't look very good right now. And I think we can expect to see some surprises. And it's like I said, a jailbreak aspect. Like it's now or never. We gotta make our break now. So a rat in a cage. It's like that quote from Putin, like a rat in a cage. Is going to be fiercer. Like an animal who is caged is going to fight back with greater ferociousness. And he himself made that quote. So I'm just kind of thinking about this aspect and how it relates to the enclosure. And we're definitely going to see some big themes there. On the personal front, Venus deals with relationships. So yeah, we could think about the relationships of nations too. I mean, there's some pretty big make or breaks happening right now. Some pretty surprising developments taking place on that front. But in our personal lives, relationships have been a huge theme for us since basically last eclipse season and the end of the year when Venus stationed retrograde in a conjunction with Pluto. We also had Mercury in that conjunction with Pluto. So we have been going deep. We've been trying to excavate and sort of press the reset button and get really strong together in our relationships and our plans for the future. So many people have experienced that threshold of success where we feel like we have it figured out, we have a plan, glad we cleared that energy out and like we're good now, we're solid now. But if you haven't been so successful in that regard and you're feeling like Venus between a rock and a hard place, this Uranus square might be the cosmic nudge that says, hey, here's a safe boat. It's time to get out of the situation. It's not going to get better. So that's not to say that that's true for everyone, but that may be something that you are experiencing or someone you know. We're definitely going to see that energy play out for some people. Well, definitely not everyone. Venus's square to Uranus may be something a little bit more benign too. I know my husband and I, just personal example, we have had a 2-year-old during a pandemic, and we are feeling that Uranian need to wild out a little bit. So if that's you, Venus square Uranus says, get a babysitter and figure it out. Like go break the rules, go break the routine, spice it up a little bit. And because it's a square, it is necessary. It is necessary. So there's some sort of tension that feels sort of confining probably somewhere in your life where the square to Uranus is saying, we must do something about this. This is a make or break aspect. And that because Venus has been kind of in this kind of tense sort of besiegement where you feel trapped, the square from Uranus may feel sudden but also welcome, where it is an opportunity to break out a little bit. And it may not happen in the smoothest of ways. Like maybe you feel like you're in a desperate place and you have to quit your job, but you don't quite have something lined up yet. But if you'll feel that quality of liberation from getting out, but then you're still kind of in this hard place. So it is a tough time. I do empathize with anyone who's feeling that Venusian aspect right now, but I will tell you it gets better. After Venus's conjunction with Saturn, I believe that's on the 27th, it's going to get a lot better because, Venus is going to enter Pisces and join up with Jupiter and Neptune. So if this is your lifeboat and you feel like it's not going to get better, this might be an opportunity that you want to take. Or you can wait for the conjunction with Saturn because that will make things very, very clear. So that is your astrology shot of the day. This is Catherine Urban, and I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Book your next astrology reading with me by visiting my website, where you can also sign up for my newsletter and stay up to date on courses, events, and new articles. Bye.